not forgetting the broken promise of not building an academy. Well, when you consider that not many young players that come through the academy get their chance of coming through, maybe he was right of building another second white elephant for Celtic to hold. 1-0 to Dundee United. 15 minutes gone in the Scottish Cup, sitting watching that now, but I do digress. The second white elephant, where they build a training ground and they can't bring players through like they would do maybe Ajax or Barcelona or other teams where they bring 2 or 3 through. Why have a training complex when you're not giving youngsters a chance? Especially when our main rivals are no longer in the same league. But back to Mr. McCann's final legacy, the one where the Boys Against Bigotry campaign was started, and Celtic fans, ever since then, 20 years, have had to face a now onslaught of the Freemasonic state, the criminalisation of our history, culture and songs. Thank you, Fergus McCann, for that. Thank you for saying you were against bigotry and putting songs like Boys of the Old Brigade. Boys of the Old Brigade. How bad was that in the context of being told we're up on our knees in Fenian blood, go home, the famine is over? And how Celtic fans have been terribly and unjustly attacked and targeted with the new laws. So that was an open and own goal by Mr. McCann, that this festering sore has now had 20 years to build, and no historical revisionist out there who sings Mr. McCann's praises shall ever convince me that this legacy that I talk about, his Boys Against Bigotry, has opened an open wound and a festering sore that will be here for years to come. So as Mr. McCann sits in Boston with his bus company to New York, refusing to take calls not from a journalist but from a Celtic fan, in the last year when I've phoned him many times, that's fine. He even put me through to Peter McLean. Peter McLean, that fine bastion of Celtic. Jock Brown as well. That other legacy of putting in non-Celtic fans in roles of Celtic Park. That's held as well, hasn't it? That's held as well, whilst the Freemasonic state conquer and divide the Glasgow Celtic, whilst they have, they had a Labour Lord who was part of continuous wars of aggression against innocent people. We now have a Tory Lord of Parkhead sitting there as a Zionist when the poor innocent Palestinians suffer in an open prison of 6 million. And then people have the chutzpah to even say Mr. McCann is in the same league as Brother Wilfred, John Glass, Michael Davitt, Jock Stein, Jimmy Johnston. He came, he saw, he plundered 35 million. And in that time, he was an aggressive, arrogant bastard. Yes, he was our aggressive, arrogant bastard when he stood up against Farry and the SFA. And in the long run, did he triumph against Murray? Well, his economic model, obviously, being frugal, been keeping a tight ship run, all very well and good. And you see that his plan was not to win a league, not to invest heavily in a team. Yes, build a stadium, get the fans in, get the money rolling in, but walk away with 35 million, 7 million a year. At the same time, I've been told, you can't sing these songs, Celtic fans. Here, sing about the famine. Sing about the famine. And then what happened with that, We start singing about the fields of Athenry. Our histories was askewed because we can't no longer talk about people standing up and defending for their rights by using whatever means possible against a Freemasonic terrorist state. So we can't sing songs of freedom regarding these people, and only Mr. McCann can get to choose what songs we're allowed to sing. Driving a wedge between our supporter base is one thing. Then replacing fans who have came for many years, who are from the streets of Glasgow or Ireland, and been told, we don't really want your ilk here. Maybe not in so direct terms, but people can take the hint, you know, when you're told, just sing the Fields of Athenry, just sing these prescribed songs. So when we start singing other songs, then our board can rip us to pieces also. And ergo, allow the Freemasonic state to jail innocent Celtic fans on a willy-nilly basis. And then the board can come out 2 years later after the dirty deed has been done, when the collusion has happened. They can turn around and say, oh, we tried this, we did this, and look what we're doing now. Too little, too late. You sold out the fans. PLC. So the Celtic legacy, McCann's legacy, a PLC that sells out the fans, a PLC who is not in touch with the real fans, who are only wanting consumers, are only wanting people that are easily fleeced. Maybe that was the signature for Mr. McCann to leave the PLC. I just took 35 million off them. Keep up the good work of giving them an inferior product. Keep up the biscuit tin mentality. Keep being frugal with the cash. Keep using your moonbeams that you have so successfully taken from the other dark side, and use this dark craft to bewitch a huge majority of Celtic fans who are huge consumers now of the PLC pap. Well, the final truth will be this season, when the season tickets come in, how many people are still deluded by the PLC BS. So thanks for that, Mr. McCann. The PLC is your legacy. The Boys Against Bigotry is your legacy. The collusion with a Freemasonic state is your legacy. You might not be here to see it happen, but you certainly set the wheels in motion with your Boys Against Bigotry campaign. Innocent Celtic fans lie in jail. Can't directly put it on Fergus McCann because he's away running his bus company with his 35 million he took from Celtic fans. Well, many can't, but I'm trying just to address the balance of these historical revisionists. There was a reason why Celtic fans booed Mr. McCann when he left, when he was unfurling the title. There was reasons, clear, unadulterated reasons, and these reasons cannot or should not be hidden. The truth is out there. Seek the truth, reject falsehood. Because Fergus McCann vanished with 35 million, and he left a club not in tune with the fans. He left a club not for the fans. He left it for consumers. The heart, the belly of Celtic has been ripped out, and many good Celtic fans out there no longer go along. They vote with their feet. They don't like the sanitised bastardisation of Celtic. Sure, we might have triumphed against the Mankey mob, but did we really? Or did we sit in collusion with them? Yes. So the decision of putting many not-minded Celtic people in there, is that one of the reasons possibly why Celtic sat in their hands, and over a sustained period of 10, 15, 20 years, they allowed our biggest rivals to cheat on us on an industrial scale? When Brian Quinn pulled us out of the EBT with Juninho and realised this wasn't the way to go, how long did they sit in knowledge of side letters from the people who cheated them? How long were they complicit? Silence needs consent. Why did they not shout louder? Why did they not go to UEFA quicker? We've got a wonderful balance sheet, haven't we? Wonderful. That's all Fergus McCann's fault as well. Blame him for having a wonderful balance sheet. Blame him. Well, you don't have to. It's just me. I'm blaming him because of what he was like to people that Tommy Burns. Tommy Burns, for all his faults, he was a great Celtic man. Fergus McCann, for all his faults. I just can't believe he'll be a great Celtic man, but I just can't believe how people want to idolise him and put him up there and call the stadium after him. The way he treated Tommy Burns I would say, away you go. The final coup de grace to Tommy Burns, leave by the back door. Leave by the back door. That was a lousy move, Mr. McCann, a lousy move. God bless Tommy Burns, a great Celtic man. He might have never come in and put his money in like Fergus McCann did, but at least he never took his money out, and at least he treated people with a common courtesy, which was more than Mr. McCann could. And then you've got the revisionists saying, well, his attitude and the way that he behaved was needed at the time. I dare say businessmen who come in and do what he did, they have to be a certain way, I suppose, eh? You can't be all nice and roses to everybody. You've got to be ruthless and brutal. But how ruthless and brutal do you have to be? Well, so ruthless and brutal, he sold out the company, the club's traditions and roots, turned it into a company of fools, deluded fools who believe any BS. Boys against bigotry. Boys against the historical revisionism of Fergus McCann. This is boys against the corruption of Celtic, boys against the PLC with Tory, Labour, war criminals, Zionists, the Freemasonic state in collusion. Shame on Celtic, shame on Fergus, and shame on the historical revisionists. I hope our club can be returned to the fans properly, instead of having temporary custodians that we should be ashamed of. From the old board to Fergus to Dermot and his busted flush PLC. Fuck the Huns, God bless all the real Tims out there. Fuck the consumers. If you want to take issue with anything I've said,